or like, oh, those are the best onions right there. Don't hate.
That's a really long onion.
Yeah, well.
It's not even supposed to have onions. Like, it doesn't come with onion.
Dylan. It's fast. It's fast food. Okay, I do have a weird question though. Are you allowed to go into a Mr. Beast burger?
I have no idea.
I don't think they allow. They just do delivery.
Really?
I don't think they have like any sit down or even like takeout. Like at all. Actually, that's not true because I think the last time I ordered it gave me the option to do takeout. I just want to figure this out really quick. Sorry, I just started.
Yeah, I'm gonna look if there's one near my area, because if I have to order it on the road, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it in the future.
It's a-
Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast burger. It's a pretty decent burger, especially since, like, for what you're getting, you're not spending an arm and a leg for.
No. Mr. Beast would never do that to us.
It's like $9 for a pretty decent burger
Mm-hmm.
instead of like $12.
$12 for Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carl's Jr. Yeah, you can do pickup. So I lied. I guess maybe that's what I do next time I get something is go in and pick it up. Anyways, hello and welcome back to the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. My name is Evan, the producer. We have Wildcard William down here.
We were recording
Mr. Reesberg. Yeah, I did it on purpose.
And come on, man.
Not this whole time, just the last like 2 minutes when you showed the onion.
He showed the onions.
Anyways, this is our resident expert Dylan. We are here to talk about Frankenstein today. Frankenstein's monster. He's crazy. He's big. He's green. His name is Bruce.
Banner.
And yeah, he's a weird scientist guy. He calls himself the Hulk. I kind of forgot because I didn't watch this movie in a long time, and I hated it that some random fucking college student calls him the Hulk, and that's how he gets his name.
There you go. Good job, college. That guy's going places.
Yeah, college teaches you things like how to identify species by creating a name. I don't know how some college kid was like, because he's getting interviewed by the media, and they're like, yeah, there was this like big old green thing like a Hulk, and it's like, what? That's the word you call it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think he was probably trying to say he was hulking.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
just a big guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty much.
I figure out later.
But yeah, no. So we all watched the Hulk. This
Yep.
like this
2 weeks
last
ago.
week or so.
Yeah, last week.
We are a bit behind schedule, but we all remember it very vividly. We just went and rewatched it. This is the How Bad Was It series, and for a film that got a lot of hate, this is a very good film to investigate, if you will.
All right,
we
I
wanna
need to.
know how bad it really was.
I also have I wrote some stuff down about it.
Oh, interesting. Like plot stuff or
No, just like my thoughts on it.
Yeah, we were supposed to watch it the week of 4th of July.
we did watch it the week of after the 4th
Yep.
of July, because that was Iron Man. This was like last week on the 11th through the 17th. We were supposed to watch it.
Iron Man 2 was supposed to be last week's. This week we're supposed to watch the
you're right.
Iron Man
Yeah.
2 is this week's
This week.
watch.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the. I had to open up. I forgot to name it, so I couldn't.
Find that.
I had to
file.
look for it.
That's good. Yeah, no, so we watched this all. I probably watched it around the 4th of July, so it's actually been a week and a half ish. So like probably I watched it like towards the end of that week. I don't even remember. It's
I remember.
very recent.
I
saw.
Yeah. I saw Iron Man 2 last week, so yeah, I'm caught up. So we just gotta watch Thor this week.
Yeah, this week is Thor technically, so that video comes out on the 25th.
Yep. But anyway, back to the Hulk, guys. Back to the Hulk.
Anyways, this giant green guy comes in and he beats up some people and he steals and kidnaps a girl, and that's the whole movie. No.
Yep.
Basically, we start off the movie, the like opening scene and like the intro credits are actually like the very happenings of the actual Hulk and him hulking out for the first time. They show the little green laser go over his head and go, and then he, goes crazy, and like as it's like panning through the opening credits and like crediting like the director and everything, like you see like flashes of what he sees, which is I think is a really cool creative choice. I don't know if that was Edward Norton or if it was Feige, like piecing that together, like the limited vision of like what the Hulk's actually getting and like what Bruce is like experiencing of that.
Was Feige even part of the Hulk? I don't think he was.
I don't think he's been around that long. I think he only came in like phase. I mean, I don't know even. I don't know if he was like directly tied to the Hulk project. I know he's been like in charge of the rest of Marvel Studios for a good chunk of the last like 10, 12 years. But I don't know when exactly he stepped in to take that lead role.
He stepped in 2007.
So he did.
Yeah.
All of this, the whole MCU.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't know for sure. I was just pretty certain.
How dare you?
Iron Man.
How dare you? How dare you now authorize our leader, our Lord and Savior Feige? How dare
you question Feige's choices? No.
Yeah.
I guess he was part of like the 2000s X-Men. This would be a big rabbit hole that I don't want to get down in. But he was part of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. So I don't know. It's just for me was a really cool creative choice to like piece that in there instead of like have it be its own scene, like to start the movie, like to like just like transition through the credits, like to like get that part out of the way also, but also like have something there, and then like the film opens up with him it's him in like meditating in whatever city country he's in. Brazil? He's in Brazil. That's right.
He's in Brazil.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just literally sitting there meditating in Brazil after all this crazy shit's happening. You have, I mean, like you can understand like what happened, knowing the character and like seeing that scene. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to do the backstory or like origin story without doing the origin story.
Yeah, it's a great skip over, and
definitely.
I wish they could have done that for some other characters that like we didn't really need it for. And then like what's great is like they don't need to like introduce characters necessarily, like and like give them like this shitty little dialogue to explain who they are to that person, like oh hey, and then like develop that relationship on screen. Like it's already pre-existing because you see that scene opening up and like he's gone and like you have no idea, and then you like cut to Ross and he's like we're looking for Banner, he's whatever, and you're like you don't need like some weird explanation about how they're like how he knows the dynamic between his him and his daughter. There's none of that needed, and like they don't even touch it.
Well, they also didn't do anything with that because the Hulk movie, like the original one, the one in 2003, covered all that.
Yeah.
So they were expecting people to have kind of known, because it was like a pseudo sequel, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah. I think that they didn't really have. I mean, this is Kevin Feige's second year into being the president of Marvel. He's, got probably some sort of budget given to him, and he's like, here's how we can incorporate some of this stuff. But also, like, he doesn't have this master plan all the way through, all the way, So like that's.
And at that time, Marvel was.
You had King the Conqueror.
Whoa! Spoilers
from the start.
Whoa! Spoilers.
Spoiler alert! No.
Hey! I said King the Conqueror. We know about King the Conqueror. We may not know.
What if none of our viewers haven't seen Loki yet, and he just?
I'm not saying anything about Loki.
We just did a whole series on
King the Conqueror wasn't even in Loki.
Or is
It's
he?
true. He wasn't.
I know.
The character that plays King the Conqueror is in Loki.
Yeah, he's
But
from a different multiverse. Oh,
he is
oh god.
he is not King the Conqueror.
Oh fuck!
no.
What have I done? Oh man.
Multiverse. You mean like the multiverse madness?
You mean like Enter the Spideyverse?
Okay.
I
Anyways,
mean,
You mean the Serververse?
stop it.
yeah.
No. Okay,
The
so we're in
serververse.
Brazil. We're
Oh,
in Brazil.
don't get me started. Don't get me
meditating.
started.
Doing his circular breathing.
Yeah, he's trying to keep
And
himself from
yoga.
freaking out. They have a little
Mhm.
days till accident graphic pop up to show that like he hasn't had any incidents. He's been in Brazil like I think it was like a 30-day sort of period or close to 30 days. So like he'd been gone out of the United States for a month, and in Brazil just
More?
doing whatever. It was
Yeah.
either 30 or 60. I remember it ended in a 0.
I guess 60.
It could have been 60, yeah. So he's been gone for a while. He's gotten a job down in Brazil. He's just been like helping out, doing whatever, and kind of just trying to figure out how to be a human again now that he's been changed biologically. And so he's been communicating
Yeah.
with a guy, Mr. Blue, over some secure network.
Yeah.
To try and figure out, and he's been sending him blood samples to try and figure out how he could cure himself from, being the Hulk.
Yep.
And he understands that it's like connected to his heart rate and getting angry, and I would assume, I mean, it's probably been more than like the 30 days or 60 days since he's been out of the U.S. because he's probably had other incidents somewhere else,
It had been years that what they were
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
set up.
It's because Ross has been looking for him for a while. He's popped up in other certain areas, caused damage.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know like what he had done unless there was like news stories written about him, or like
Yep.
he wouldn't know what he actually becomes and want that cure, because that's the whole point of his progression is like, hey, I want this cure, and then ultimately decides, no, I have to be the thing to stop this other thing. So,
Well, I don't know if you watched the alternate opening.
Right.
There's an alternate opening of it of where Bruce is on a truck, all X-Men, or the original X-Men, where Rogue gets out of the truck, like very similar to that. And then the truck driver just drives away, but Bruce is like packed to the gills with all sorts of stuff, like he's like going to hike up a mountain.
yeah,
And
trying
he's
to kill himself.
Yeah. So he like hikes up the mountain, like starts shedding off his clothing, shedding off like his snow boots. Like he's even got like the snow paddles, so where you can like stand on the snow.
Yeah.
And he gets to like this ice pack that's like overlooking the ocean, and he like pulls out a gun and gets ready to like shoot himself in the head. And
Yeah.
then he hulks out, and the Hulk just like grabs the gun and destroys it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I thought doesn't the Hulk bite the bullet though? Does he
No,
bite the
so
bullet?
that's in the comics.
Okay.
And this alternate scene, he had the gun up to his head, but
Yeah.
I know why they didn't do it, because that would have probably
Intense.
potentially,
Killed the rating.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Made
But-
it not watchable for certain people, kids. So
Well,
yeah.
it's also trigger warnings and stuff too,
Yeah, for suicide.
But like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2008, people were more chill at that time. Now, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
You'll just get in trouble.
yeah. But yeah, like the Hulk is like it's also part of like the whole thing where like the Hulk is always somewhat aware of what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And he's like self-preservating.
Preserving
Self-
himself.
Preservating.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
that's why like Bruce had to give Hawkeye an arrow specifically designed to to kill the Hulk
Yep.
in one of the comic runs.
Yep.
Like
Why is it always the archers that have to take down the gods? What's up with that shit?
Well, why is it
Because-
always that guy?
Because would you rather kill him from a distance or get up real close to him and try to kill him?
Um,
Yeah.
I'm just referring to Oliver Queen having to take out Superman.
Oh, I know.
Anyways, yeah.
He took him out from a distance.
Yeah,
Would you rather again? Would you rather take out an alien Kryptonian close and personal, or would you rather shoot him from a distance and not get to you that
Close
quickly?
and personal.
Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, I am. I would not stand a chance. Anyway, so we see, we keep getting off track, but Bruce is in Brazil. He's working at a warehouse. We get to soda. Oh yeah, it's a soda factory for.
Yep.
What's the soda called? I forget.
Jeng? No, I don't know.
Something with a J. It's like a reference to the comics, isn't it? Or
I
like
think.
a writer. I thought it was.
I think it's a writer.
I kind of want to. What's the drink?
Mhm.
From the Hulk. But anyway, so we see like the kind of. Oh, come on.
So the factory, like, it shuts down, and then
Bleeds.
Bruce has to fix it, and while he's like fixing it up, he cuts his finger, and he like shut it down, like completely shuts it down. Like everybody's like, okay, what the fuck? Like, Bruce like cleans up what he thought was all the blood, and then turns out there's a big ketchup stain on the side of one of the bottles that's easily spotted.
Ketchup stain.
He just did not catch.
Yep.
And that leads us into our Stan Lee cameo.
Yes, where Stanley.
It's okay. I got it. It's Pingo Dos
Doce.
One. Yeah, Doce.
Yeah, I thought it was something else, but I guess it's not.
Pingo Doce at the bottom.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Or just like a standard Brazilian name, kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But
It's like a reference to something. Though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
So,
obviously
but
like
who
the
drink-
green color for the Hulk, but
yeah. But who do we know that drinks a soda that has some of the Hulk's blood in it?
Stanley. What do we want?
I felt like it was a pretty poor cameo.
Yeah.
I felt like it was way too early on for the cameo to be done. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I put it as a D.
A D in tier list. Okay, that's not bad. I would probably put it. Where did we put the one from Iron Man? We put it S tier.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would have to put this at a C. I might move it somewhere else later on down the road. But I
give it
would
a-
say a C.
I would give it a C minus. It's in between, you know.
I mean, overall, it's just like they're like some guy in like Pennsylvania. I think it was Indiana.
Yeah.
They're like some guy in Indiana got gamma poisoning, and then it shows Stan Lee like grabbing a bottle and drinking it, and then he drops the bottle. Like it's not the best cameo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what brings General Ross into being like, "Where did that drink come from? We're going to Brazil."
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah,
The Ross.
Ross.
And then
is-
if he sees you, he's gone. He's gonna ghost you.
which isn't the case, because he saw them, and he still sort of got away, but not entirely. He got trapped back at the warehouse. He accidentally, on his way there, bumps into some of the guys that we met earlier, like
The
10 minutes
bullies.
earlier, the bullies of the factory, trying to.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Sec-
knows what?
His next door neighbor.
Yeah. And so he has to fight them, and he does really bad until some weird green guy pops up and grabs one of them and throws him across the building, and then
Yep.
Well, what do we think about this Hulk versus the Ruffalo Hulk? Like,
oh, that's. Do we want to get into that? It's
well,
very.
it's relevant because we're
you're right.
like I feel like they copied the body of Ruffalo a lot better than they did for uh, Edward Norton.
Yeah, I don't think that it's like it doesn't look like him.
No, where like for Ruffalo, it actually kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
Like they used the mocap of Ruffalo to at least like blow up his face and turn it hulkified.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where,
Oh yeah.
like I think they were trying a little bit too hard to do like a combination of I keep losing his name. Edward Norton. And the guy that played the Hulk originally.
Yeah.
They were trying to do like a combination of those two Hulks, so it wasn't like a big branch, like for the audience to be like, oh yeah, like this guy, like
this is the same. Yeah, I mean it's they're incredibly different designs, and then you can even look at like the 2012 version of the Hulk, and go, okay, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, I mean. You also look at the difference between 2007 and 2013 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like CGI, like the difference between all that. Different, but overall,
Edward Norton's Hulk was decent enough to be a Hulk, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was decent.
I think the difference, though, kinda is that like Ed Norton's looked a little lanky, like strong, like still really strong, but he looked lanky to me. Where like Ruffalo's looks bulky, like he looks strong, he looks thick. Where like Norton's looked a little thin. Yeah, he was like a really lanky, like strong guy. I don't know.
Yeah, and it didn't help that they kept trying to pin. What's the soldier's name? Who ends up becoming Abomination?
Oh,
something like that.
Bertelli.
Denali, Danilo. I don't know.
Samsonite.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. Samsonite. Oh, it's way off.
Blonsky. Neil Blonsky. It didn't help that they kept pinning Blonsky, and like Blonsky like held his own, you know, in that first fight, which he didn't. He just got ignored, you know. But like the fact that they're like, well, he's trained enough to handle this, and then he gets the super soldier serum, makes him like cap like abilities. It's basically it seemed almost like the same serum that like John Walker gets, which we'll get into, but it gave it like the same like sort of anger problem, you know, but like super strength was there, and he like walked up and it was like he was like jumping over the top of the Hulk and like being able to dodge him, which is because he's such a good, you know, mind tactically, just like you know Steve would have been. But like the fact that they like, you know, gave him that, it just doesn't attribute to it. Like you would never have seen Captain America fight Banner's Hulk or Ruffalo's Hulk, because he would have got shit on, you know. He punches Thor in Avengers and knocks him the fuck out. Like it's just like
survives is because Thor is a god.
Yeah, it's like the betrayal difference. And even like smashing Loki, he just like.
I mean, if we're gonna be fair, you know, Ruffalo's Hulk took down both gods.
Yeah.
God of Mischief and the God of Thunder. So. Yeah,
exactly. And so it just like the way that they portrayed him also doesn't help the fact that like he just doesn't look as strong.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree with you. It was really weird that to have a guy with just a super serious serum made by, I guess you could say, by General Ross, and you know, of course there was also a little bit of an X-Men reference there with the X-23.
Yep.
Which I noticed. So yeah, it was really weird though. It was really weird him to go toe to toe with the whole, you know, F full strength, with just him just being like, you know, somewhat bit of a super soldier.
Well, I mean, he's still got his shit rocked.
Oh yeah, he got kicked. Oh fuck. That whole just.
It shattered every bone in his body.
Everything gone.
Yep.
He rolled like 60 times before he hit that tree.
Yes, he did. He
And
did.
like, I mean, that it shows him up, but like he also wasn't trying to defend himself. He's like, "Hit me, let's see what happens." He's
Yeah,
just fucking god.
he was being cocky,
Yeah,
which like I think it was overall probably very similar to the same serum that
yeah,
John Walker got, but the
I
one that
want-
John Walker got was more
More
refined.
improved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, what I want to say is that I mean, obviously, like John knew about this serum. It seemed like prior to it getting out. You know what I mean? If we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, it just feels like it can be from the same sort of branch, and we're gonna have to wait to see where
I
that
think
serum.
everybody kind of technically knows about the serum because, like, the fact that Captain America got his superpowers from a serum isn't
Yeah.
like.
Oh yeah.
Like isn't
Isn't
not
taboo?
public
It's not
knowledge.
talked of. Yeah.
Like
Everyone
everyone
knows.
knows that Cap got his powers from a thing. It's the matter that the person who got those powers was such a good person.
Yep. Exactly.
And they don't talk about that part.
No, they don't.
They talk about that, you know, he got his powers from his super serum.
Essentially, what I'm trying to get at is it feels like they're tying a lot of things together from the first, you know, phase to this new phase 4. Like they're bringing in Tim Roth and Abomination to play in Shang-Chi, you know, and I feel like that I don't know, it could get explained a bit more.
It could. But I do personally believe it might be a whole different Abomination. It's not going to be the one that we run
it could be that
run
type.
from the Hulk.
I think it's the same one. Part of this reason why I think it's the same one is because of the guy who got brain blabbled, and then he got the
leader.
Yeah. So he's the leader in the comics,
Okay.
and he does happen to be in the Thunderbolts as like
Yep.
the technical tactician of the Thunderbolts, but with it being like he got his brain superpowers from having the Hulk serum drip on his open wound on his forehead.
It's not even the serum. It's his blood.
Like,
It was the Gamma blood.
Yeah.
it was just the blood. I thought it was like a
Yeah.
mixture of the blood.
It was just straight from the bottle.
Okay. But still, like, he still got the power from it. He was deriving a super serum from Banner's blood.
Yep.
Like, it's not like he can't manipulate that
Oh yeah.
at the time of General Ross to have Ross, like, have him working with him.
Yep.
Because he gets taken away.
Yeah.
Presumably by Ross, like, later.
Yep.
Like,
You were correct.
to go to the raft. I could see him, maybe not the same actor playing him,
A
but
different one.
Yeah.
I would hope that they bring him back. He did really good. I don't know his name, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't put a. I mean, I'm hoping he does come back as well, but depending on his schedule and his so-called age, you know, they at least have to make him at least, you know, how long has he been away, you know?
Tim Blake
Yeah.
Nelson.
but like I've seen him in things somewhat recently.
Yeah.
Um,
you know who they could do for the leader? Bill Hader plays the leader in the MODOK series. Imagine
Yeah.
Bill Hader as.
Oh god.
no, but yeah, I don't know. Like I could see the leader, and I think they were setting up for the leader to be like the next villain in this next standalone Hulk movie.
Yeah.
But we might be able to see him in She-Hulk.
Oh, true.
Or, like, again, like, we'll probably see him if we do see him again in Thunderbolts, but, or whatever the Thunderbolts series is, be it Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or whatever it's going to be called.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance that we see him there.
Yeah.
We see him again.
Yeah, because we haven't seen the full, you know, the full roster team yet, or who they casted yet for those.
That thing on our Instagram chats that like runs down like the full list of who's in the
Yep.
Marvel movies at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said Yelena. I'm not even gonna go through the whole list, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're saying it's possible, but yeah.
I mean, and then that, like, if the leader is working for Ross, it would make sense that Ross, got the powers to become the Red Hulk through the leader manipulating the serum.
Yep.
At least a little bit to get it to be a more, like, stable compound, and then
Yeah.
he's, like, Ross still took an unstable compound, and that's why he's the Red Hulk instead of the Green Hulk. Or even Gray Hulk, but, like...
Yeah.
Most likely Red Hulk, pretty much is the way I
Well,
see it.
he is the Red Hulk.
Yep.
It's, like... I don't know.
It's very likely.
Yeah.
I think that sickness theory is pretty damn.
Oh yes, it's really because I know the sickness in in our next we're gonna talk about next time in the Black Widow, which we will do.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
we also don't see Ross in. Well, actually, we do see Ross
Ross again in
at
Avengers.
the end of Endgame. At the end of Endgame, but he's not
Yeah.
Red Hulk. So
No. Looks sick.
Yeah.
you're right.
So
maybe
there's a
he
good-
has. So
he
he has
took super
cancer.
serum.
He has cancer, and then that's why he gets injected with
Well,
the
they-
serum.
They said triple bypass is what it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
He had a triple bypass in Black Widow. So he's having heart issues.
Oh.
Yep.
So then he goes into shit. That's bad.
So he
Yeah.
takes serum to potentially,
Try to cure himself.
cure that, which, I mean, it technically does.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it does.
All right.
Just like Deadpool's real superpower, super healing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's continue on, boys. Let's continue on to the movie. What else do we think about it?
So obviously, I mean, that we covered most of the plot. There's not
Yep.
really much. There's a lot of like character moments that are good, which I think are done well because they don't set up the let's do your origin story sort of lines, and you like meet all those characters before there's a Hulk or before there's changes. Like these are people that are missing their loved one. Like she.
Yeah.
She wants him back. She's like, where have you been? Like, what's going on? I'm so worried about you. You turned into this crazy thing, and I haven't seen you in years. Like, to see you here and normal and okay is just like this whole, like, you get this whole new development that, like, you wouldn't get the same reaction or the same feeling, I don't think, if they had done all the, like, forward work trying to set up an origin story. They do tell his origin story of him becoming an actual hero and choosing to, like, the hero's journey, to be the Hulk and to try and control it rather than, like, by, like, showing him meditating, showing him working on himself, and then you get the, hey, I'm ready to meet this person again, and I'm ready to try and fix it. And then
Right.
when he goes to fix it by getting cured, he realizes there is no, real fix, that this is a piece of me, this is who I am now, and even if I get cured, the government isn't going to give a shit. Because, like, that's what he was trying to do, and Ross still kidnapped him. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, he just kind of had to accept it, and that's what's great about that second half of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of deleted scenes, which I wish they kind of would have actually kept in.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire, like, time where Banner is with Betty in her house.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend is supposed to be in the house with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And then so, like, I was sitting there, like, going, okay, how does this guy know that Banner is here?
Yeah.
Like, with them, like, cutting it, like, that
Yeah.
whole bit out, like, how does he know Banner's here? Like,
Yep.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
But they cut it all out, so it's just kind of like a loose end a little bit.
Yeah, he's just
But,
so
like,
irrelevant to the story almost. It's like, why was he there? Like, he, like, says the line to Ross where he's like, now I know why she never talked about you.
Yeah, like he didn't have like any real relevance in the story.
Yeah.
But then once you watch the deleted scenes, if you guys did, I know I did
I've
because
seen him before, but not this run through. I didn't think.
But like, uh, he actually had like a lot of really good lines. Like he was trying to psychoanalyze
Banner.
Banner,
Yep.
and like he did a pretty decent job at doing it. And he's like, just like Betty, you're telling the truth, but
Not
you're
the
not-
whole
you're
truth.
not telling the whole truth.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
like there was a part where like Banner's like sitting on the guest pull-out bed or whatever it was, and like Betty is sitting in her bed, and like Betty's like wanting to go into Banner's room and like sex him up, and Banner's like wanting to go into her room and sex her up, but it's just like them like laying there awkwardly, like both awake and not doing anything, and then we find out the reason why they're doing that is because the dude's sleeping on the couch in the next room, like because he's
That's
like
so funny.
he's actually a good dude because he's like,
Yeah, he's
no,
like,
this is a really awkward like situation, like I know, like this is your ex, you're like still caught up on him, like
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
I'm going
take
to
almost
sleep
at
on the
this one.
couch. I'm gonna sleep on the couch tonight. Like
Yeah.
I'll be here for you tomorrow morning, like kind of
Yeah,
deal.
I mean,
Like,
good guy Phil. Obviously, we know who actor he plays, and he plays in Modern Family.
Yep.
yeah, but like it's just so funny. Like,
Oh yeah.
like watching the. I wish they would have kept it in. Like it would have only.
Should've.
It would have
Yeah.
only made like the movie 10 minutes longer, and then it would have like added so much extra dialogue that would have been better
Mhm.
Yeah.
to have
Yep.
in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it just takes away from like, how does she have male clothing just hanging out in her house? Like, all these kind of
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, just funny little one-liners even that like the film could have really used sort of during that. I mean, like the whole second
Yeah.
half of the film was much more serious until you meet the leader, and then
Mhm.
it gets a little bit goofy. So maybe they just didn't want to have. I mean, like Kevin Feige's great at like sliding comedy through, like intertwining it to the story, but like
Mhm.
maybe they just thought it was too much. For I don't know. It
I-
didn't feel like. I didn't feel like it would have been too much though, because
Well,
I didn't watch these scenes this time through, but I remember watching them. I don't even know how long ago it's been since I last watched them, but they're so funny.
Yeah, some of them are really funny. Like the like sorority chick going, "Oh no, we don't stand," like, and trying to get away from not paying the bill, and then like he's just like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." And she's like, "Gross. Are you trying to like?"
With me?
And she just like closes the door on him.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "Dude, you gotta like show her who's boss." And then she opens the door, and he's like, "Hey, girl!" And he like walks in with like the keg, like
Oh yeah.
just totally flips a switch. Like, no, you gotta show her who's boss. Like,
Yeah.
and then
Oh yeah.
but we missed like there's the Lou Ferrigno moment as well.
Yeah.
Where he gave the pizza to Lou Ferrigno. We all know Lou Ferrigno being the original Hulk.
yep.
I didn't even realize that was a deleted scene.
It wasn't even a deleted scene.
No,
It was when he was
Oh yeah,
figuring
yeah.
it
I was like,
to
wait a
go-
minute, what? Yeah. Okay.
He could type his magic types to Mr.
Yeah.
Blue
yeah,
to figure out where to meet.
Yep.
And then that's how like Shield like broke down on them because they had already put up the firewall
yeah.
to catch anything that has to do with Mr. Blue.
Mr. Blue.
Any of that stuff. So.
Yep.
But like the dude that was in the lab.
Yeah.
My girlfriend made a really funny comment going, "Oh, this guy, he hasn't slept in like 3 days." Like,
No, probably not.
like, well, she's been in the same situation, so she like understands like a dude like in the lab trying to
No.
finish the project,
Yeah.
like, and he's just in there. He's slept in the
He's
lab
just, like-
probably for 3 days, and then like the dude shows up with a free pizza. He's like, "You are like my god," like.
Pretty much.
So that's kind of like the whole situation there.
Yeah. He
That
doesn't
was
really
actually-
ask questions
Yeah.
at that point.
He's-
He's so
yeah.
he's so enveloped in his own work that he's like, I just gotta go. So
Are
Gotta go.
the god.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah,
any
overall,
good, any good,
like, I
moments?
think we did pretty good talking about the movie overall. Like, I don't think we really need to go into much of the fight or anything, or how bad Abomination looked compared to what he's supposed to look like, and how they're
Yeah.
fixing it in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get it in Shang-Chi, so it's okay.
Like,
We
and
also-
they might even talk about how like he got extra serums or something in
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we can clearly see that he like is you know, he's. I think what sets Abomination apart from a Hulk, obviously, is like he has the ability to talk, like out the gate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like
I think-
he has more control. Like Blonsky has more control over the Abomination than
Yeah.
Banner had over Hulk initially, and so I'm sure that Blonsky is like opting to do tests and to like take more serums or whatever if that's the case.
Real quick question though for you guys:
Yes.
do we see Betty again ever?
No.
This Betty, like
Just
the
in
same
general.
actor,
Betty Rock in general.
I don't
No.
think there's a reason to.
No.
I didn't think we would see either. But
It's like
I
we
mean,
have-
her being General Ross's daughter and the primary like love interest for Bruce Banner in
Yeah.
general, like
Yeah, I think.
question, especially since Nat's dead.
I think if we get a Thunderbolts series, and like look, what I think that it's hard to say because the Thunderbolts, you could see something like that happening. But
Well,
also,
here's the- Are we getting a standalone Ruffalo Hulk movie?
It's what I'm hoping, but I don't think so. I don't think it's not in their
If we get
plans.
a standalone Ruffalo Hulk movie, we see Betty again. If we
Maybe.
don't get a standalone Hulk movie, then we
Even-
don't see Betty.
I'm even thinking she could pop up in She-Hulk.
She could,
Maybe. She could.
but overall, She-Hulk is more about.
Okay, so we have this 5-year gap between the Snap and Endgame. Hulk is now Professor Hulk at some point. Ross is seemingly gone this whole time because otherwise he'd be cracking down on them and trying to control them, and like he wouldn't let Banner do more experiments on himself. I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Betty didn't get snapped and they're together, and we see both of them in She-Hulk. Potentially. Obviously, we're
Do
going
we
to see
know
Ruffalo either way.
Before or after Endgame?
I think it's after. She-Hulk is probably after. We don't have a confirmation on that, but like if it's after,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be technically Phase 4, right?
yeah, this is Phase
Yeah.
4.
No, well, like, you know how like Black Widow came out Phase 4, but it's still
Yeah.
technically Phase 3.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't see She-Hulk
it's a
happening before
Phase
Professor
4
Hulk.
movie that takes place in Phase 3.
Yeah,
We'll get into that when we talk about Black Widow and how stupid that is. But anyways,
Yeah.
what did we think about overall? Like, let's give it ratings
All right, let's do it.
because I think we said it all.
yeah, that's pretty much everything in the film. Rating out of 5, our rating scale for those of you who are new here is 1 is unwatchable, 2 is watchable, 3 is a good film, 4 is a great film, and 5 is an ultra film. I'll go first. I would say that I think that it's a 3. It's not great, but it's not as bad as we all remember. Like a lot of people would probably, without thinking twice, rate it a 1, or even watching it again because they think it's unwatchable, and that's just not the case. It's a decent film. There's some creative differences that happen, and the stories doesn't really piece together perfectly, but it's still a pretty coherent story, and I think it's pretty good for the Hulk. And I don't think it's easy to do a Hulk story, especially because you can't have a scene like what they would have opened with in the mountains.
True.
And I think
Sure.
that's the piece of the Hulk that you would want to explore, the piece of Bruce Banner's mind that you want to look into. And I don't think you can really do that unless it's something like
Rated
a She-Hulk, where you, or rated R, where you have like somebody that he's like explaining his experience to, like, hey, this is in a way that like you don't have to show it, you know. So maybe they can delve into the mind of Bruce a little bit more in She-Hulk, but like for an origin story and for telling, hey, this is the Hulk and this is what Bruce Banner is, like this does a good job of it.
So, what if we get a standalone Hulk movie, but the movie is rated R, and it's kind of in the aspect of what is the Jared Leto movie with uh, Damon Wayne in it?
Ooh,
Requiem for a Dream.
yeah,
So, like,
Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. What if we get like a Hulk movie that is more of a Bruce Banner movie, but in the aspect of Requiem for a Dream? Like, I know he's like now Professor Hulk, but like
a
like,
previous.
it would have been cool if we got this movie before,
Yeah.
like, and like it's kind of showing like this is how he became Professor Hulk kind of style.
Yeah.
So it would have to be kind of like a Black Widow, like this is
He had-
pre.
Deep dive his own mind
Yeah.
to go into his own mind and figure all this stuff out, and I don't know.
That's where you see the Gray Hulk and stuff, and I would love that. I think that would, if they can do it and do it well, that's a 5. But
That- Be a 5.
this is
I mean, if they do it perfectly right, then yes, definitely a 5. But if they don't, that, you know.
yeah, I just think that it's like if they were to do a real in-depth like psychological study of Bruce Banner type of movie, which is what I would want if they were going to do a Hulk movie. Like, there's no, like, they can't do Planet Hulk now. They did Ragnarok, you know?
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
that was a combination Hulk
Yeah.
and Thor movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like, you can't do a Planet Hulk, which is his best story. You can't do World War Hulk because you have Professor Hulk now. And
Yep.
you can't really do any Old Man Hulk stories because, you know, he hasn't aged that much since you last saw him.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to do a Black Widow. This is a movie from the past sort of deal, and obviously it's not greenlit or even being talked about. The only way that gets approved is Ruffalo does an insanely good job in the She-Hulk
Yeah,
series,
but-
and they go, okay, we actually want to do this. And
Yeah, they could, but unfortunately, they hit like a huge, you know, they hit like a huge a wall with the Hulk.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah, they've put themselves in a really bad situation overall for solo Hulk movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I guess Hulk's a good foil, like, and that's probably where they're gonna keep him.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
sadly, they just keep doing him. Like, he's like the most done dirty character that they have in the MCU, because it's like, realistically, you should have put up a better fight against Thanos. He should have, you know, had more control after he's been with the Hulk for, you know, or in Infinity War. It's like 8 years almost that he's been with the Hulk or had to deal with the Hulk and learn about him, and he's been in space with the Hulk, and you know, like, he still just has no grasp, sort of. And then you see him fight Thanos, and he just gets his shit rocked. Like, he can't control himself, and he's afraid. Kind of, it's like they just never. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, but in the end, you know, he had to get his ass kicked by Thanos. To be fair.
yeah, like I get. I guess we could see a Hulk movie that took place in between the 5 years between the snap.
Yeah, that's
Or-
what I'm saying.
snaps,
After
like,
the snap, and then in between him changing into Professor Hulk is when it would have
Yeah,
to be like a.
we just saw Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
He just showed up.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
see how he did that. Where, like, that would be like the best part for a standalone Ruffalo
Yeah.
or standalone
That's the
standalone Hulk
only
movie.
place it would make sense, I think.
Yeah.
But
Nothing else.
yeah, no,
does.
like, it would have to be like a psychological thriller, I think. which
Yeah.
is really cool for a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Like
Either
maybe
that,
that's where we see
or
where we see the leader again.
yeah, or they could. The only other place I said that I literally just said the only place that they could do it is in between that window between a snap and becoming Professor Hulk. But also, it could be they could do a Planet Hulk movie with just him on Sakaar, just beating the shit out of fucking everyone. But I don't think there's enough to explore there.
There's enough. Well, maybe not enough.
There could be.
It would have to be like a short
It
film.
would just end up being like a Godzilla movie, where like you're in it for watching monsters fight each other.
Yeah,
like
they could do like even like a. It doesn't even have to be. I mean, what's the average length of a movie? Like
138,
140 minutes. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
they could. I don't even know if they could do.
Minimum at least 2 hours, but no, I can see this movie like I could at least see a Hulk movie in at least an hour.
Yeah, like
An hour more. I don't see going to full 2 hours per se.
Yeah, 90 to 100 minutes. The vast majority are 80 to 120. So even if they did an 80-minute movie, that's an hour and 20 minutes. And even then, I feel like they just don't have enough to, like, they can show him beating up Beta Ray Bill. They can show, like, his emotional, like, what's going on with the Hulk as he's going towards Sakaar. Like, as he's leaving on the Quinjet, like, you hear, like, Banner's voice, like, speaking to him. You get, like, some weird interaction between the two of them. And it's, like, Banner always trying to escape kind of deal until the point where he ultimately does. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, William, what was your rating?
My rating, I'll give it a... This Hulk movie was very interesting from what I remember, but it was still not that good. So I think I give it at least a 3. I'll be nice and I'll just give it a 3.
Okay.
I mean, I could watch it again, just for, I guess nostalgia memories, per se. But after that, I'll be like, whatever. And also for me, I would question whether or not it would be like, what if, what was the actor's name, the original for
Edward Norton.
Yeah. What if Edward Norton stayed and became part of those Avengers? With the Avengers. What if he still became Professor Hulk? Or what if he was still part of the Thanos? What if he got?
Yeah, I think if Norton stays, we don't actually see Professor Hulk. Yeah. We just see a good combination between the two Hulk or between Hulk and Banner, because like that's what he was really working for. You can see it with the very last scene in the movie where he's like sitting there meditating, and then his eyes turn green.
Yep.
Like he was finding that balance, and I think that's probably why they were like, "You don't get it, Tony," or his Cap.
Whoa.
Yeah. You don't get it, Tony. You don't get it, Cap. Whatever, whoever he says, it's like my secret is that I'm always angry. Yeah. Like,
that's my secret. That's my secret. I'm always angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
Yeah, like that's kind of like where they were trying to subtly do that, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, true. You may have that one, and maybe we with Edward Norton, we probably would not see a Professor. We probably would have seen at least a different, Banner and Hulk as well.
Yeah, we could potentially, if Ed Norton stayed around, we could have seen the time where Hulk actually shit Banner out.
Oh yeah.
Two separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And another what if.
That's such a weird series though, where like Banner is
just poops him out.
Hulk is Hulk, and Hulk literally poops him out.
Yep.
But I think Evan pretty much covered everything pretty well with how he synapsised his rating.
Yeah.
I also will give it a 3. So we got good movie.
3 threes.
Yeah.
I think originally I did think it was like a bad movie, like just like everybody always said.
I always thought it was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's trash. Like, and like overall, like if you look at the IMDb ratings and that like the Rotten Tomato ratings, it's not the greatest rated movie.
No.
Like, but I don't think it was.
Deserves that.
Yeah, I think with a rewatch, it actually deserves a little bit better of a rating than it has.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are giving it that rating because they wanted more action and they wanted, probably Abomination to show up earlier, give him a better fight. They wanted,
Probably.
I mean, I don't know what else more you could want. More action is all that they were expecting from a Hulk film, and they didn't get it. They got more emotion from Norton, and
Which I think that's how you have to do a Hulk movie, though.
yeah. But I don't know. I think people's expectations are a certain way for looking for that, and that's why that might be the way it is.
What do we think of the not post-credit but post-credit scene?
The post-credit scene is technically Robert Downey Jr. showing up at the bar where Ross is drinking, and
my boy was hurt, man. He was like, cheers, give me another one.
give me
you know?
He was fucked.
So originally, I think we were going to do this in the S through F ratings.
Yeah, but we can do it.
We also did ours Iron Man in the 1 through 5 rating. So
Yep.
I think it's better to do it in the S through that, because then it's not the same rating as watchable on because you can watch all the end credits,
Yeah.
It's just better to give it the S tier or whatever. It makes more sense to me.
So we'll go with the S tier. William, you go first.
This post credit scene looks like it's really interesting. I'd say I'd give it more like a B. It was there. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. runs into him. Yes, they talk about the super serum, the super serum that didn't work on Ross's side. Obviously it kind of leads up to a couple of things like this and that. A nice little companionship or partnership with Ross and Stark, and to have their relationship get going early on.
Yeah.
I give it a good B. It could have been better, but it hasn't revealed that much. Saying, oh look, Tony Stark finds Ross in a bar, drinking himself.
So, yeah, I just want to bring this back up because we were just talking about it. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 67% from the critics and 70% from the audience.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah, I thought it was way worse.
67 from the critics is actually pretty good for everybody saying that the movie is trash.
Yeah.
So
I think maybe
it's been gaining steam over the years.
Yeah, that's what happens to most movies.
People go back to watch it and they're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Just like we did.
Yep, just like everyone else following us in this series. We're down to the second one. All right, Evan, what's your rating for the post-credit scene?
Post-credit scene, I give it. What did we give the Fury one?
So it was a D.
Yeah. I would give it a D as well for this one. It's nothing more substantial. Maybe actually I'll give it a C. I'm sorry, because you get to see Ross at his lowest point, and looking for help, and obviously Stark's already been approached by S.H.I.E.L.D. to develop this team, and it pays off sort of what Fury came to do in a way, and what Coulson was doing the whole film. So it sort of starts to pay that off, and it makes more sense that this is the start of the team, more than obviously Nick Fury showing up kind of does a better job of that maybe, but I don't know. I guess it's a puzzle piece that just fits better than the last one.
So you're giving it a C?
A C, yeah.
So we have a B and a C. So I'm actually giving it an F.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same scene.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
The Iron Man 1 scene.
Yeah.
But instead of Fury being Fury, it's Tony Stark. And then the reason why I'm giving it such a low rating is because literally in Iron Man 2, they say Tony Stark can't be an Avenger. and that like makes the end credit scene for this movie
invalid.
null and void because
Yeah, he can't
he's
be.
not an Avenger,
Yeah.
and he's not making a team. like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you've got a
you know,
point.
it's the exact same scene as Iron Man's end credit scene without it not being the same scene, and then discredits it in the next movie that came out.
Yeah. Well, what's the timeline of that? Them meeting up versus Stark building the team, because like
Well,
that,
so Tony doesn't even
Iron Man,
really team, does he?
Iron Man 2 is like, I mean, like Tony starts looking at the film of like the Hulk and what's happened with him, you know, and he starts to see like, oh, this is what the Avengers could be. This is our suspects, or like our, potential team, and
But it's like it's laid out that like it should theoretically be after
that him meeting Ross technically should slide in after, which is a bad place. And I don't know if they ever explained that, but like in my head, I always thought of it as that. Whereas like Iron Man 2 happens, and he like starts to think about this team. He's like, oh, I can't do it, and then he like faces threats where he has to team up, with Rhodey, and he goes, oh, we should actually have a team, and then he goes to approach Ross.
But even like timeline wise, I think the Hulk is supposed to take place.
It does, but then like, who knows like how long that's like these things are happening like simultaneously.
When did the post credit scene technically happen?
Yeah.
Like, did it happen after Tony? Like basically after like Iron Man 2 and
Iron Man 2's over the span of like a week or 2 weeks maybe.
Well, so does that scene technically take place after Thor? I guess, right? Because like,
yeah, I don't know. It's a good
because
question.
Thor literally happens like a couple days after Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Like I think they say it takes like a week from Iron Man 2 to Endgame. Or not Endgame, Avengers 1.
Avengers 1.
I think they said it's like literally a week.
Oh God. Yeah, so like that's what I'm trying to say. Is like all these things are happening like simultaneously. Like he's building the team like all at once. Like that he's not like like the Hulk rampage happens like I don't know. It just seems like it all happens like back to back, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna start building this team like with Shield after after the events of Iron Man 2, where he's like, okay, yeah, I need to like actually step in and be this guy that actually wants to, because like he's like obviously like we talked about with the Iron Man 1 review, where he has this step where he's like, I want to be more accountable, and then he has to like learn how he has to actually be more accountable, and the lengths he has to really go to get there in Iron Man 2 and in Iron Man 3, by creating his own army of robots, and like he fucks up with Ultron, like he has all these setbacks, but he's ultimately getting to the point where he becomes the guy that snaps. And so it makes sense to me. I mean, I guess we'll have to look at it like when we watch Thor and Avengers, but like I'm pretty sure at least it always made sense in my head that all happened like in the same week. Like the events of Hulk, even like obviously like Tony getting kidnapped and then like coming back all took less than a week for him to come back, or more than a week, sorry, not less than a week, more than a week to like come back and then like upgrade all his designs, and then he like missed months. He was away from the company for months and was supposed to be there. They're making all these decisions without him. They're taking government deals to create more arms, and he's like, I thought we were done with that. And has to put Obadiah in his place, kill that motherfucker. So like that all happens over months, but then like Iron Man 2 and everything up through Avengers is all within like this short period of time.
Yeah.
So like even Thor 2 Avengers 1 is like very, very little time.
So I guess after giving my rating and my idea, does that change any of your guys' ratings, or do we keep it?
Keep it. I keep it the way it is. I mean, looking back, like you do have valid point. Like it was very confusing, that post credit scene.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
keeping it.
I guess if we don't think of it as in like Tony Stark's going off to build the Avengers,
Yeah.
we could do like a really deep dive where like Tony Stark's going like, hey, I'm not going to build the Avengers. I'm going to build a group of not Avengers.
Yeah,
Like,
he's gonna build his own Thunderbolts.
we're going to build the Thunderbolts, and maybe that's how Ross gets the idea for the Thunderbolts.
Oh my god. So this.
Maybe.
So you guys are
So maybe this
underrating
post
it.
credit scene is better than it
You
is.
guys are underrating it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Uh,
only keeping it because, like, in my head, it makes sense. Like that's like one of the building blocks. Obviously, it's out of order, and like, as in, it's like the second film of Kevin Feige's career at Marvel. So
for
Yeah.
being
can't-
like a big guy, I think like he doesn't have. It's not his second film, but what did we give the Stanley cameos again? I didn't give it a very good. I think I gave it a D.
I think I gave it a D as well.
Give it a C.
Yeah, I might have even given it a C. I don't know, C or D.
I give it a C.
I'm
Because
going
he
to
just drinks the soda, and then that's
I'm gonna
it.
put it as a tentative D.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds good.
And then when I rewatch all this stuff,
Rechange
we'll
it if
go
we.
over and rechange it based off of what you guys said again. But I can't remember off the top of my head, so
Yeah.
right now we have a 3 out of 5 overall good movie.
Yep.
Post-credit scenes, it averaged out to be a C, and the Stanley cameo turned out to be a D.
Yep.
D.
So Iron Man
As in
1
he dies in that movie.
is still
Still number one.
number one.
Yeah.
We got Iron Man 2 coming up here,
Yep.
And
Okay.
Thor 1.
and Thor 1.
Yeah. And Thor, yeah.
This
Thor
week.
makes his debut.
Triumphant debut.
His mighty debut.
I don't. Oh, the movie's not the Mighty Thor. It's just Thor.
He is the mighty Thor, though.
He is the Mighty Thor, but it's
Yes,
just
yeah.
Thor.
All right. Quit getting PC with me. Just kidding.
Get it right. Get it right, you son of a bitch.
Okay.
Like done any looking at the movie, but Hemsworth looks so different
Oh,
from then to now,
like
Oh, face.
his body?
just in general.
Yeah.
Oh, like
A
his
face.
character, or like
No,
Hemsworth,
like
or
him-
Thor?
So
Oh, okay.
Hemsworth has grown up since becoming Thor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He looks so different. Like you'll see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Damn. Like, yeah, he still had a little bit of that, like
I mean,
little
it's been
under.
10
like-
years. How old was he?
I don't know. We can get into that when we watch Thor.
Save it another time. Save it another time.
Yeah, I'll save it.
We've deep dived the Hulk movie too many times on other things.
Yeah.
Too
Save
many
it. Save it
dives.
for Thor's own thing.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
read one critic comment to end the video, and then we're calling it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We are.
This is a comment from Peter Bradshaw at The Guardian, a top critic, October 18th, 2008, says, "What Hulk smash most? Hulk smash all hope of interesting time in cinema." That's it. That's all. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We read them all. We'll see you then. Bye.
Yep.
Woo.